Welcome back, everybody. So, my next movie review for you is Independence Day Resurgence. So, once again, this movie was directed by Ronald Emmerich. It was released on the 16th of June 2016 here in the UK. It was made on a budget of $165 million and it made 300, I should say, and $89.7 million in the box office. In this movie, we get to see some of the original cast from the first movie return, as in Jeff Goldblum as David Levison. We also have Bill Pullman as President Thomas Whitmore. We also get introduced to some new characters in this movie in the form of Liam Hemsworth as Jake Morrison and Jesse Usher as Dylan Hiller, and plus many, many others. So in this second installment of Independence Day, once again we get to see the return of this very aggressive alien force as they respond to a distress call from the events of 20 years ago. In that 20 years, humanity and humankind have basically had a lot of time to prepare. They've put aside a lot of their petty differences and are working as a very unified force. In that 20 years, they also take some of the alien technology to try and develop some weapons to be prepared for their return. And when it comes to it, these weapons are about as much use as a chocolate teapot in front of a fireplace. And that is where this movie review is going to begin. That's pretty much going to set the standard for this movie review. I do not hate this movie in any way, shape, or form. I watched this again last night before I did this review. I like it on a kind of entertainment kind of value, but as far as story-wise comes along, it kind of mirrors the first one, just with very subtle differences. I mean, we got this big sphere round thing that appears and all that kind of stuff, which has got another sphere inside it and all that kind of stuff that's trying to find us, to try and warn us that they're coming and try and give us some more superior technology. And then we got it also, I shouldn't really say too much just in case there's any of you guys that haven't seen this movie, so I'm not going to spoil it for you. Not a lot to spoil, but I'm not going to do it. But like I said, there are just subtle differences in this movie. And this also introduces another first bugbear with this movie, is the return of the aliens in here. This is going to be fun. So, there's a lot of like kind of build up. You know, there are in the beginning part of this movie for the first 15-20 minutes. There's a lot of talk about them. They are going to return and all that kind of stuff. They're going to come back and they're going to beat us and all that kind of stuff. And then they get this like severe thing coming in. They blow it out because they think it's them. And then all of a sudden, 1 minute they're not there, this alien force, and the next minute it's there. It's like, oh yeah, we're back. We're going to have another go. Just completely out the blue. And the other thing is, you're going to love this, is that they've got a whole space station on the moon which is trying to search out for any kind of hostile alien force or any aliens to come through, but they cannot spot a 3,000-mile spaceship. 3,000-mile wide spaceship. Baffles the shit out of me, but yet they can detect planets from millions and millions and millions and millions of light years away, even now, and they're supposed to have better technology, but they cannot see a 3,000-mile wide spaceship. And they even said in the movie, how did we miss this? How did you miss this? I really would like to know. And we had no explanation of this in any way, shape, or form. How can you miss something that big? It's probably one of the worst bits of story or bits in a movie that I've ever come across. It's like, yeah, we can see a planet from millions of light years away, but we missed the 3,000-mile spaceship. Somebody's going to get the sack. But this is, like I said, it's just one of the flaws in this movie. I'm not being harsh. It's just a huge flaw, which really does bug me, because I watched it again last night. I watched it when it came out, and I watched it again last night before doing this review. And I was like, so that's a good point. How the hell did you miss that? I know I put a lot of emphasis on that, but, you know, it's just one of the first things I have a problem with. Performances in this. I'm going to go on with Jeff Goldblum's character first. Okay, because there is one performance in here I actually really, really did like. But I'm going to go on to Jeff Goldblum's character, David Levison. That is, once again, just a mirror of the first movie. The jokes are pretty much the same. Pretty much says the same things. He's pretty much saying, well, we did this last time, so let's have another go at doing it again to see if it works. But just once again, with just some subtle differences, and we're just going to try and bait them out and all that kind of stuff, like they baited us. And it's like, the jokes are the same, the flying thing's the same. It's just, again, it's just like another mirror of the first movie. That's another problem I got with this movie, because Jeff Goldblum and David Levinson in the first movie is one of the best characters in that movie, besides Bill Pullman. And, it just, there was nothing there. And we have a love interest, which I have no idea. We have a love interest for David Levinson in this movie again, and this person, I have no idea why she's in this movie, because she spends most of the movie going, everybody sees this fear. We don't know what it's for, but everybody sees it. And that's pretty much all she says throughout the movie. And I'm like that. What are you doing in this movie? What are you doing here? Love interest, which doesn't really happen. It's just a waste of time, really. They could have done a bit more with David Levinson's character. They could have gotten, well, he was involved in this, and he is still investigating, and he's trying to figure out what they were doing and what they're doing now and when they're going to come back. But he just seemed not useless. He's definitely not useless, because he's one of the key characters in here. But he's just so different, and the love interest in there for him was just completely waste of time. Moving on to other performances in this movie. I'll go on to Liam Hemsworth's character first, Jake Morrison. So he's kind of like this kind of pilot who basically got grounded or taken off and nearly killing Dylan Hiller. It's a kind of a bit of a subplot which is going on in this movie, which I get why it's there, to be honest, but it didn't necessarily have to be there. I get why they put it in there, just for, to break up from the main plot line, just to give you something else to focus on. But yeah, I just was like, I'll just get it over and done with. Just say sorry and get on and fight some aliens, which potentially they do, kind of. Or they get their asses handed to them on a plate, and then, they carry on. Now I'm going to go on to one of the things I do actually like in this movie, is the performance from Bill Pullman. He is by far the best performance in this movie, for many, many reasons. One, he has a lot more of a serious tone than the rest of them in the whole of this movie. You can actually see the effects of what happened to him in the first one, and how much it's affected him over the last 20 years. How much it's scarred him. He knows what they think. He knows that they are coming back. It's just a matter of time, and he knows that, Earth are going to get a hammering, or they're going to be very close to getting a hammering. Let me put like, his performance in this was very, very good, strictly because of the fact that you can see the consequences of what happened to him, how much it scarred him from the first movie when he was in that, when he, again, tentacle bit, he's wrapped around his neck, or in the mind, no, it's the mind bit, wasn't it? In the first one, they read his mind and they got into his head, but you can just see, what it's like. And I would like to have seen a bit more of him. I do like the way that they, kind of put some closure to his character as well. I think it's absolutely fantastic, even though it was slightly underwhelming and slightly pointless. Now, if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm on about. If you haven't, you'll understand it. But it was just a good send out. It was, I liked him. I liked him in this more than I don't know. I liked him in both movies, but I just liked him in this one. Jesse Usher, so Dylan Hiller. As Dylan Hiller, so basically Captain Stephen Hiller's son, who is now a pilot, and he's kind of like the flag man of the US Air Force now. Again, he wasn't that good, in my opinion. His performance wasn't that good. He kind of upped the game towards the end of the movie, but his performance wasn't that good, and he really did not feel like his father's son as such. He didn't have that same kind of finesse or kind of spontaneous kind of will. He was more like a sheepish kind of like, I'm gonna have to go fight these aliens in a minute, and I'm gonna have to lead everybody. So it was just kind of like that kind of thing. I'm trying not to put too much hate on this movie. I'm not, because I do find it entertaining. There are a couple of other characters in this which I think were absolutely completely pointless in this, as in Jake's girlfriend, who is Thomas Whitmore's daughter. she was pretty useless, to be fair. She did one good thing in this whole movie. One good thing, and that was it. She literally just brought down the Queen's shield. And that was it. And that was just pointless. The way this movie was shot, I get what they were doing. I am kind of a little bit skeptical on CGI, but I understand why they had to use so much CGI in this. They wouldn't be able to have done this movie without that CGI, so I kind of let it off for that. It is a little bit scabby and scrappy in places, but it's not enough for me. I'm just skeptical on CGI. That is just literally the way it is. Plotline is not hard to follow. It, like I said, it's a bit predictable, very predictable, and it is very much a mirror of the first movie. There is plenty of destruction for about 10 minutes when this alien spaceship comes along, which actually, to be honest with you, is a nice little change from the first movie. It's got its own gravity, so whatever comes up must come down. Comedic elements in this as well are not that good. I didn't find hardly any of the comedic moments in this movie even funny. And I'm not being harsh. I'm really not. These are things that I picked up on. Yes, I admit these are my own personal opinions, so do not hate me for this. But these are just things that I picked up on from watching this movie for the second time last night. Entertainment value, yes, I can sit down there and watch it. But for any decent kind of acting, apart from Bill Pullman and maybe a couple of others, it's not there. It's just good entertainment for me. I can sit down and watch it easy enough, but I don't love it. So I'm going to give this a Cookster rating of, it's good, but it's not brilliant. And that's basically what it is. So on that note, please tell me what you think. Have you seen this movie? What do you think about this movie? Put it in the comments down below. If you haven't seen this movie, watch the movie. Tell me what you think. Put it in the comments down below. I hope you all have a great rest of the day, whatever you're doing. Please take care and goodbye.